My wife was tested for STDs the same afternoon she got back from an 8-week trip. I took a week-long business trip and used a solo shopping trip to hide the appointment. My wife is a great person and we've always gotten along. We've been married for almost 2 years and together for 4.5. We're in a monogamous relationship and have both had several partners before we met. My wife goes on a long business trip every year. Over the past couple of months, it's been tricky to keep in touch by phone and email. She works in an environment with lots of technical issues. But she really enjoys her work on business trips and usually comes home feeling fulfilled and excited about life. She usually takes a day or two to rest and get over the jet lag after 28-hour flights. Because of the time difference, we spend a lot of time together when she gets back. We have sex, go on dates, cuddle, and catch up. This year she's been away for a long time, so she came back excited. In fact, she was so excited that she wanted to work on some projects, but she needed to go get some material. Just got back from the store about 3 hours after picking her up from the airport. She said she wants to go shopping for her craft project, and that she'll likely spend several hours out shopping. She really emphasized how much time she'll need to go shopping. I think this is a little weird, considering that she just came back from a 28-hour flight. She hasn't slept on the flight, which is usually not the type to spend more than an hour or two shopping. But she's been weekend shopping. 5 hours later, she comes home with a single bag of craft material. I think it's strange, but I don't really think about it. I chalk it up to taking a lot of time to pick out her materials and carefully selecting them instead of bulk buying over the next few days. She didn't really go through the jet lag. I thought that was strange, but I decided to give her space and just focus on school. 2 weeks after she returned, we still haven't had sex, despite my advances and light questioning. She says she's just feeling off and doesn't feel like it, which I find strange since she usually has sex 3 or 4 times a week. We've also been exploring some new kinks prior to her trip, which we'd talked about. When she returned, I noticed that she didn't reciprocate my sexual advances as much as she used to. I didn't think much of it at first because we've always been open with each other and attentive to one another's needs. However, after 2 weeks, the combination of her distance and lack of sexual intimacy felt really off. Over the weekend, she went out with her friends, and I decided to snoop on her. If you're not comfortable with this, please stop reading now. We've always been open about our phones and social media. We both know our phone and computer passwords, and she knows my Facebook. While she was out with her friend, I looked on her computer. She had left her work and personal email, Reddit, and Facebook open and logged in. I didn't see anything unusual, so I looked in the recycle bin. I found that she had taken some selfies. I found the nudes on her phone, sent them to her email, downloaded them, and then deleted them, hence the recycling bin. I thought that was odd. Normally we would send nudes to each other, not put them on our computers. Maybe she really liked them. She did look hot and decided to keep them. This has got me thinking because she has been really disinterested in sex. Since she got back, she's been taking selfies in the nude wearing lingerie. I checked the metadata on the picture and saw that it was taken recently and downloaded from Gmail. I checked her Gmail and saw that anything before 3 days after she got back had been deleted from her inbox and then deleted from the trash folder. I checked her email and saw that the messages from the 4th weren't archived. In her trash bin, though, I found a confirmation of an appointment at a health clinic in an adjacent city. There was a link with a user ID to log in to the patient portal if you needed to change your appointment. I logged in with the ID and her common passwords, which I knew. I already knew from our sharing that the portal is mostly empty, but it showed that she had scheduled and kept an appointment on the same afternoon that she got home from her trip. You can request records from visits via the portal, so I did. They were delivered to the portal about 30 minutes later. She had gone in for STD testing 5 hours after coming home from an 8-week business trip. I had a week-long business trip recently, and this wasn't enough. It wasn't just one test. The record showed she'd taken it several times. I matched it with her business travel timelines and saw it coincided. She'd taken tests every time after returning from her trips, even when we were dating. I quickly downloaded all the reports and deleted the history of tampering. I'm typing this on my iPad, which has all the reports on it. I'm not sure what to do about this new information. I'll update you when I know more. As many of you suggested, I should gather more evidence before confronting her. Unfortunately, I felt the reports were sufficient, so I printed them out and called my wife to ask when she would be home. She said she would be late, so I asked her to come home as soon as possible. My temper flared, because this was the first time I'd spoken to her like this. She tried to calm me down and asked me what was wrong. I said nothing. Just bring your cheating R's back home. She rushed over and was sitting in front of me within half an hour. She stormed into the house, yelling and questioning my language. I threw all the test reports on her face and she sat down, numb. I nudged her to speak, but all she did was. My anger got the better of me, and I was so angry I didn't care about the truth. When she spoke, it was all about saying sorry, and that she loved me. I told her to cut the crap and speak the truth. When she finally spoke the truth, I wasn't sure if I was ready to hear it. It made me throw up. Her business trip was more like a F trip. It was on one of those island nations, where tourists from the West mainly visit for a fun time. The West mainly visits for a fun time. Young men and women on that island take you for a ride. You could have one or many partners there living with you, taking care of all your needs, food, laundry, sex, everything. Women there actually look for men who can impregnate them so that they can get financial help from rich Western men. Women from here visit there for fun. I asked her if her business trip was all a facade. She said no, she had work, but it was just 6 to 8 hours a day, and the rest of the evenings and nights she was there. She was enjoying their fantasy life. I asked her when she was planning to tell me about this, or if this was supposed to be a lifelong secret, but she didn't answer. She just kept crying. I told her we would need to separate. She seemed so shocked, as if I said something implausible. She said this wasn't a reason to separate. She said those boys don't mean anything to her. She said she doesn't remember half of their faces or their names. She said she loves me and she has never cheated on me. She said she lost her virginity. I yelled, "Do you understand what you were bringing home through your body without my knowledge?" She was justifying it. "That's why I took tests to keep you safe. I never had sex with you without I felt like banging my head against the wall. How can you claim to love someone and safeguard them by having sex with someone else?" I stormed out of the house because talking to her felt like nuts. I'm losing it over this. I'm going to talk to my lawyer and serve her with the papers as soon as possible. Until then, I'm looking for a place to live separately. I cannot bear to stand her anymore.